Don't make a girl a promise. If you know you can't keep it. They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever Spartan I wanted. I did my research, watched as you became the soldier we needed you to be. Like the others, you were strong and swift and brave. A natural leader. But you had something they didn't. Something no one saw.
Hi, what's going on, all you beautiful people? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this thing on? Ladies and gentlemen, can you all see me? Ladies and gentlemen, can you all hear me? Test, test, mic check. What's going on, y'all? What is good? What is good? Is everything good in the hood? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Oh shit, we got a lot of people pulling up tonight. What's up, y'all? What's up? Alrighty, so while we let a couple more folks join in, let me just go ahead and start at the top with the shout outs. You know how we do. Alright, we got David Biglad in the chat. What's up, everyone? Oh, this man's starting bright and early. You already know he's 6 shots of vodka deep. You already know that. If David Biglad is showing up before everybody else in the chat, before Flame, you know he's drunk. We got Elitist Edits in the chat. Sup, Neo? You go to stream Tokyo Game Show? No, I'm not going to, just because of the time differences. I think that would be like 4 or 5 a.m. my time, and I mean, I could wake up and do that, but I value my sleep, so I'll most likely just watch the highlights when I eat my breakfast in the morning. We got Retro Lad in the chat. What's up, Chris? How you doing? We got Dylan Collins. We got the homie J Fam. What's up, Jason? We got NKDN. What's up, my guy? We got Pierre the Gamer. Xbox Hype. Let's go. Not. His words, not mine. Oh, you guys, this is going to be a spicy episode. It is going to be a spicy, spicy episode tonight, my friends. We got Exploit in the chat. We got Porvertito. What's up? What's up? We got Pooh Bear. What's up, Neo? I got me a Steam Deck. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. I guess you could say Pooh Bear is deck verified. There we go. JFam says, if you ain't liking the stream, what are you doing? Oh, they doing some bullshit, bro. That's what they be doing right now. So you heard the man. If you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out the channel tremendously. We are currently at 27 likes right now. We got 48 people watching. Appreciate you guys. We got Hassan in the chat. What's up? We got Abdi in the chat. Get yourself some water, lads. Yes, I got my H2O ready to go. No seltzer today. I ran out, so I got to stick with Acadia Spring Water from Stop and Shop, which you know, it ain't no Poland Spring. Anyone who lives up here in New York, you know we about our Poland Spring life, but that'll do, pig. That'll do. Who else is in here? Oh, we got Bryce in the chat. What's up, Bryce? Best time of the week. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got Timper21, another gem from the leaks. Xbox is profitable and it has a higher margin than PlayStation. Ooh, yeah, I did notice that graph right before I logged onto the stream. I haven't looked too deep into it, but we definitely gonna discuss it, guys. This is gonna be a long stream. It's gonna be a different ass Neo, but we got a whole bunch of topics. We got the homie Seeker in the chat. What's up, Seeker? How you doing, my brother? It's good to see you. How's that ROG Ally been treating you, man? You been getting in a lot of gaming on that? We got Valkyrian24, just got on. How's it going? Oh, it's going pretty good, Maddie. We just started the stream, brother. We got Rory, Elder Scrolls 6 in 2024. For real, guys, no jokes. Not like Xbox is 4 years behind schedule for games. Oh, man, yeah. That's like, you guys are bringing up all the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. It's gonna be a juicy episode, y'all. Let's see. We got Rhino in the chat. What's up, Kingpin? We got Brosie Brosum. Oh, y'all both said you're at the same time. Oh man, look at this. I love it. We got Fun Speculation. Mav, what's going on, my brother? How you doing? We got Xbox Expansion Pass, the homie Luke. Shout out to my man Luke. If you guys don't know Luke from the Xbox Expansion Pass, he's a pretty cool guy, all things considered, with the exception of his weird Star Wars takes at times. And I'm not talking about like weird takes of Star Wars. I'm talking about this man is different. This man didn't like Andor, and I cannot stand him. But hey, listen, he's not my son. He belongs to Ains. Ains has to father him. But shout out to my homie Luke. He just pulled a 14-hour shift between teaching and coaching. And look at him. He's showing love in the stream. I appreciate you, my brother. I got to go ahead and watch your latest episode. That's all I've been doing for like the past couple of hours. Like whenever I have breaks in between, I've just been watching like everybody's coverage of the Xbox stuff, you know, like I haven't even started Iron Lord's podcast from yesterday, but there's just so much stuff between Mav, between Luke, between Iron Lords, between Maddie, Rand, Jez. Like there's just gonna be so much fucking good stuff to listen to, man. I love it. I love it. Just give me some stuff to listen to in the background when I play some Starfield. We got JJ in the chat. Where's the jet plane, man? I want to know that. We got Big Nate. We got PS Tutorials. We got Joshua Johnson. Them leaks dropped like nudes yesterday. Hey, yo, the craziest nudes. This Xbox leak was crazier than the celebrity nude hack thing that happened like, what, 10 years ago? Absolutely insane, guys. Crazy stuff. That protein shake is thick with 2 C's, bro. Who else is in here? Oh, we got C. Pierre. We got Black Dragon. What's going on, you guys? We got K-Cube90. We live? We are most certainly live, Koiku. How you doing, my brother? We got JMac19. We got the Human AI God. What's up, what's up? We got Jonathan Kasai. Who else is in here? We got Jessica Drew. What's up, Jess? Otaku Underground. Red Sage. We got Flame. Hello there. Hello to you too, Flame. We got Coggenball. We got Kareem C. And I believe that is everybody. Yeah, so we might as well just get the intro out of the way because we got a lot to talk about tonight. So what's going on, people? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Ask Neo. If y'all are tuning in for the very first time, welcome. Ask Neo is my weekly Q&A series where you guys ask me questions and I answer them to the best of my ability. Now, before we dive deeper into the stream, I do have to do a little bit of housekeeping. As you guys know, down below in the video description, if you want to find all of my social media outlets from Twitter, Instagram, our Discord community, the Phantom Weirdos, those are all the best places to follow me, in addition to ways to support the channel from Patreon to YouTube memberships, things like that. Appreciate you guys' support as always. Thank you guys so much for all the channel memberships as of late. Thank you guys so much for all you do as the mods. And I'm getting all this stuff out of the way because for the very first time in a long time, we're going to have a very structured episode of Ask Neo. I guarantee this is probably going to sound strange for those who are watching Ask Neo, who've been watching Ask Neo, who are just used to us just chilling and answering questions. I will attempt to do that as we get further down the road in the stream. But a lot of news just broke yesterday, and I'm not talking about just like, oh, you know, Xbox just dropped their 48th controller for the 3rd time this month. How that works out, I don't know, but you guys know what I'm talking about. They released a lot of controllers. They just dropped a really awesome purple one. We've got a lot of Xbox news. I want to say this is going to go down as the most Xbox news we have ever gotten in such a short amount of time. Not planned by any means. So if you guys have been living under a rock for the past 24 hours, you wouldn't have known that a lot of Xbox news just leaked. And I'm not talking about like, oh, we found out that there's some behind the scenes drama with Halo Infinite. Like, oh, there's this code name for this game that's coming out in the future. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about what is quite possibly the biggest leak in all of gaming, one of the biggest leaks in all of tech. And it's something that you hear things are getting leaked. You hear that, oh my God, this company, like all their information got leaked. That means that they got hacked, right? Like they got hacked. Someone is trying to be, you know, trying to get back at the company for blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Like you've seen this happen. No, that is not what happened whatsoever. We learned a lot of this stuff about Microsoft. A lot of stuff, including their plans for the future, games they got coming out, new hardware, new console generation plans, personal emails going from top brass executives. A lot of stuff we learned, courtesy of Microsoft, when they accidentally uploaded all of these documents. Because you guys know there's this whole thing going on with Xbox, ABK, the FTC, all that stuff. And every now and then we'll see like glimpses of that. Like, oh, here's this document here. And it will say like this email from Phil Spencer to, I don't know, Gulp Shido from Star Wars. And it would just be like redacted. Because we can't see that stuff. Because that's something that's happening in court. Until we saw all that shit. And it's just absolutely the craziest shit that we have ever seen. Like, Xbox, you know, they just hit a high note for the first time in almost 2 years, man. Starfield just dropped, and whatever you think about the discourse of the game, you know, we can classify that as a W for Xbox, right? And, you know, shit was looking kind of good. You know, they had a solid E3. We got Forza coming out in a few weeks, and it's a great time to be an Xbox fan, you know? Like, the ABK deal is probably gonna close, and then all this shit happens, bro. Xbox is just a company that can't win, and sometimes they just do it to themselves, man. So a lot of the stuff that we're gonna be looking at tonight is probably gonna go down as some of the juiciest shit, man. Some of the juiciest shit in the gaming industry. So we're gonna go ahead and switch screens right over here to, let me see, where is this bad boy? Let me just go ahead and switch this up. So everything that we are going to be talking about tonight comes courtesy of, okay, can I switch screens, please? Thank you very much. Okay, there we go. So everything that we are going to be discussing tonight comes courtesy of Tom Warren and the fine people over at The Verge. They've done a really good job at aggregating everything regarding this Xbox leak. So as you guys can see at the top, I have all the tabs here of the things that I want to hit on and discuss. I'm not going to be talking about every single thing that went down. I'm just going to be talking about the stuff that I find very intriguing, the stuff I find fascinating. And if there is some other stuff that has come out, feel free to, you know, DM it to me on Twitter and I'll pull it up and we can discuss it. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about is probably one of the most it's just one of the craziest things out there, bro. It's like, dude, here's the next Xbox Series X refresh. Period, point blank, right down to a T. We've got more or less all the specifics. It's basically gone past the conceptual phases of like, okay, we are going to do a refresh. It's literally like, this is probably what the machine is going to look like. So this is Microsoft's new diskless Xbox Series S design with a lift to wake controller. So to give you guys the quick rundown, obviously, you know, when in the gaming industry, we have a lot of refreshes for consoles. You know, after a couple of years out on the market, what a manufacturer will do with the successful console, mind you, is they'll do a refresh. In most cases, it's done so they can, you know, make the console slimmer, take some feedback from the initial run from consumers, fix a couple of problems that might have existed in the original units, or, you know, they might do it to add a couple of features that were lacking in the original designs, which is what we're seeing with this new, for the sake of the video, I'm going to call it the Xbox Series X all digital edition, because that's basically what it is, right? This right here, which has been internally codenamed Brooklyn. Brooklyn. I don't know the specifics of some of these code names, but I feel like Brooklyn is a really funny way to call an Xbox console. Just because it's the New Yorker in me, man. We just looking at that as like Brooklyn, man. This is for Brooklyn, bro. But this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most powerful Xbox ever. Now adorably all digital. Adorably all digital. That's an interesting way of describing it. But yeah, so the Xbox Series X refresh. Brooklyn will deliver 4K Gen 9 console gaming with more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power, a more immersive controller, and a beautiful redesign that elevates the all digital experience of the Xbox ecosystem. And there's a couple of specifics there about how they're going to be upgrading the Wi-Fi for, you know, better performance, less latency, you know, like the standard things, the standard refreshes you want. There's going to be a USB Type-C front port. They have a brand new controller as well, which we're going to get into. That's going to be really interesting to look at. less power consumption, 100% recyclable packaging, low power standby mode, all the things that you would expect in those revisions. And I want to say shout out to all the people who've been donating the super chats. After we tackle one or two articles, I'm going to go ahead and read those super chats. So thank you guys so much for those. But yeah, so this is the Xbox Series X All Digital Edition, tentatively released in 2024, which sounds about right considering most console refreshes do come out within 3 to 4 years time frame. Kind of surprised that they didn't go ahead and release a pro model, but given what Phil Spencer said a couple of months back about how there's really no need for them to release a pro model, they have the Series X, they have the Series S, and it seems like they're going to be rocking with those, which is kind of a stark contrast compared to last generation, where they basically needed a pro console because the original Xbox One was so gimped. But I have some thoughts about them not releasing a pro console and the reasoning as to why they're doing it, which we'll touch on a little later. But scrolling down, we have the brand new controller, which is codenamed Sabil, the new Xbox controller, the world's best controller, now playing on a screen near you, which is very important. That line right there, now playing on a screen near you, is not a coincidence. Notice they didn't say console, they said a screen, which again, it goes to all of their plans in the future of Xbox Play Anywhere. So yeah, they've completely redesigned and upgraded the controller. I gotta say, from a design point of view, I kind of like the two-toned approach, the Dalmatian style. I think that looks really nice. The Play Anywhere function, which is Xbox Wireless 2, Direct to Cloud, Bluetooth 5.2. Again, that's just expanding on how seamless it is to connect Xbox controllers and swap them from device to device. That's one of the best parts about the Series X controller. Whether you're playing through cloud on your phone or your PC or your console, it's very quick and seamless to transfer between one and another, as opposed to always having to constantly sync it like this and that. It's pretty cool how that works. Seamless pair and switch, new mobile app features. You can see paired devices, cloud, managed devices, accessories. So, again, they're adding more to the functionality of the controller and how it connects to your ecosystem. Immersion, this is the really new stuff. Feel the game, precision haptic feedbacks, VCA haptics double as speakers, accelerometer, quieter buttons, and thumbsticks. Now, the quieter button and thumbsticks is something that I think a lot of us are going to appreciate, because while I love the Series X controller, I really do. These buttons, especially on the D-pad, they are very clicky. They are very loud, and it's not a big deal unless you have like a significant other who does not like the sound of that, or if you're a streamer and you just don't want to have that stuff show up on the stream itself. But less clicky sounding buttons, always a good thing. The accelerometer, the haptics, doubling as a speaker, precision haptic feedback. Where have we seen that before in a controller? Where have we seen that before? Xbox is redesigning a controller, and they're putting a lot of emphasis on precision haptic feedback, a speaker, accelerometer. I wonder. Not saying it's the first controller in the industry that's ever done that, but which I just want to get this right out there and say this. A lot of people have been dubbing this controller the Xbox DualSense, essentially, because they're having very similar features that PlayStation had with their controller. And honestly, I don't care. A lot of people could say it's copying. All these companies copy one another in some way, shape, or form. PlayStation has copied Xbox. Xbox has copied PlayStation. Nintendo, obviously with the Switch and them trying to add in modern features, even though it's taken them 40 years. All these companies, they copy one another. And that's fine, because if a company introduces a thing and it's really cool, then why wouldn't you, as a market performer, why wouldn't you go ahead and do that and incorporate it into your ecosystem, especially if it's cool and it adds more immersion? I think one of the best aspects about playing with the DualSense is the haptic feedback when it is used in games. So the fact that they're going to put that into Xbox, I love that. I think that's great. Now, is this going to be the new de facto controller for Xbox? I don't know if they're going to do that, because just based off of how expensive the controllers are now, and all the new tech that's in there, I would assume that this is going to be probably like their mid-range controller. So it's not going to be as expensive as, like, let's say, for example, if they came out with a new Xbox Elite controller. But at the same time, it's probably going to be more expensive than just the standard one, which is already Guys, how much is an Xbox controller if you go? Is it still $60? I know like some of the special edition ones are like 70, 74. It's basically around the same price as a DualSense, which is crazy to think about, considering the DualSense has a lot more tech in it. But yeah, if this brings it more to the DualSense in terms of feature parity and things like that, I'm all for that, man. Going over to the other side, we have a couple of cool features right here. Engage and Delight. You can lift to wake. Same ergonomics as Merlin, so I assume that's just like previous Xbox controllers. Same layout and activation forces, and all the things are expected. Xbox controller with a grip on it. That's great. That's one of the things that I love about the Elite controller. The fact they have the grip at the bottom, and even some of the special edition controllers they have like better textures to it as opposed to just the standard controller. So yeah, that's pretty dope. So Flame's chiming in saying it can range anywhere from $54 to $64. Source, I work in retail. Well, there you go, man. So if I had to guess, this is probably going to be maybe 10, 15 bucks more expensive. But if it's a way better controller, it's cool. This one is really awesome. New modular thumbsticks, improved longevity, and continued build improvements. So modular stuff is all the rage now with controllers. It's been more or less exclusive to the Pro or Elite type of controllers for the longest time. So if you wanted to get into that, bare minimum, you're spending $180 plus $200, something like that for a good controller, not really a cheap one. So now that they're including it on this controller right here, that's great because, again, it adds longevity for the controller. So let's say, for example, you love this controller, but the thumbstick gives out. Unless you want to go ahead and fix it yourself, now you can just replace it easily because it's modular. So that's pretty awesome right there. Sustainability, do good, feel good. This is huge. This, honestly, outside of the haptic feedbacks and all that stuff, is the best part about the controller, in my honest opinion. Rechargeable and swappable batteries. That right there is huge for the Xbox brand, because the only way you were ever able to get a rechargeable option is if you bought the Elite controller, which I love, but not a lot of people want to spend $180 on a controller. Now, the Elite battery life is phenomenal. You average anywhere from like 35 to 40 hours. Like, I've had this controller for almost 4 years now, and I'm still getting around that, which is crazy to consider. I charge that controller like maybe once a month, if that, because, I like to cycle through different controllers. The one thing about the Elite controller is that it doesn't have, the share button, and I do like the share. Well, we don't share things on Xbox anymore, considering they just got rid of Twitter integration. So now we have to screenshot it, put it on our phone, blah, blah, blah. But regardless, having that in a standard controller is great. They say rechargeable and swappable batteries. So is it going to be like, are they going to have dedicated rechargeable battery packs? Or is it going to be one of those situations where it's like, you can buy a rechargeable battery pack from Xbox, or you could still like use regular batteries because it has the same approach, something like that. I don't know. But regardless of that, I think that is great. A lot of people have wanted that in an Xbox controller, and if it has the same battery life as the standard controller or the Elite controller, that is awesome. And okay, so looking more at the information right here. Oh, okay, yeah. So the controller is going to be more expensive. I did not know it went deep into the specifics of how much these controllers will talk and how much they will be priced. I thought it was just the images, but no, it's everything. So we might as well just do our due diligence and start at the top with the Xbox Series X digital version. It's going to be a lot more cylindrical than the existing console. So the original Series X was more of a monolith. This one is going to look more like, I guess, an Amazon Alexa. It's going to look like the Apple Mac trash can, something along those lines, which, I don't know. Let's get a gut check, you guys. What do you think about it? I mean, me, myself, and I love the Series X design. I love that it's just so low profile, and at the same time, it's just so compact. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got a lot of power in it for a device that is just so tiny. So having this, basically, I think it sticks to that same approach. It's just going to be this tall monolith, but it's going to be circular rather than square. It's going to have 2 terabytes of storage, up from the 1 terabyte. That right there is, again, something that they needed to do, especially with this console generation. Games are ballooning in size. Games nowadays, you'll be lucky if you get a game that comes in at under 100 gigabytes. Jedi Survivor, which I just finished, that game was 134 gigabytes. If you are a person that plays Call of Duty, you're used to allocating 200 gigabytes just for that game. So game sizes aren't going to get any smaller, at least if you're playing on Xbox. On PlayStation, it's a little different. They have the Kraken compression, and sometimes that does work out. But it's not to the point where it's just like, okay, a game on Xbox will be 300 gigs and on PlayStation it's like 20 gigs. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, like for those who love their consoles to look very different each time around, this isn't that. This is just, it just looks like another tech product. So yeah, it's whatever. But at the same time, I don't really be looking at my consoles like that to the point where it's like, oh wow, it just looks so plain and boring. It's like, does the motherfucker work? Does this thing work? Is it gonna blow up my house? No? Okay, well give me that thing. And 2 terabytes is definitely much needed. Same great price, $499. That one right there, I'm just not really feeling. Like I get it, because of what happened with COVID and everything and the supply chain issues and all that stuff. These consoles aren't going to come down in price to the same degree as what we saw before, just because of the price of components and everything. So it being $499, I would assume it's probably going to be cheaper for them to manufacture, but they're still going to charge it at the same price. And mind you, like a lot of people are saying in the comment section, this is stuff that was like done years ago. So there is an opportunity for a lot of this stuff to have changed since then. I think the core specifics and all the stuff that we see right here is going to remain the same, but there are going to be some things that are going to be changed because of just the nature of like how product research and development is underdone. But yeah, same great price, $499. I mean, hey, listen, $499 for a all digital Xbox console with double the storage. It's going to be sitting on the same shelf with the disc version Xbox Series X console with half the storage for the same price. So it's like, get the digital version for double the storage, or get the physical version with half the storage, and they're still the same price. Interesting. But again, like we'll see what happens when they properly unveil it and announce it, probably sometime next year. The controller itself, set to be announced next year for $69.99, so that puts that right in line with the DualSense controller. As we talked about before, it's got, you know, the upgraded features, direct connection to the cloud, Bluetooth, Xbox Wireless 2 connection, and all the haptic feedbacks, right? It says here it's not clear if modular simply means the joystick tops can be swapped, like on the Elite gamepads, or something fancier like the modules in the DualSense. I would assume, just based off of the price point, it's probably just going to be the joystick tops, because anything more than that, and you're getting into the Elite version of the controllers. So yeah, they're adding in better Wi-Fi, blah 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 blah, and then it's looking right here again. This just, these roadmaps, like, we should not be looking at these documents, and yet they're here. And yet they're here, man. So for fiscal year 2024 and fiscal year 2025, you know, they have this idea of like, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to release that, and this is going to be that, and this is going to be that. And then it lists out everything, bro. A 60-day plus separation between launches enables dialogue with different audiences. So, you know, again, these things are subject to change depending on what they look at internally. But with everything that we see here, 2024 is likely going to be their year where they release all this stuff, which is interesting to say the least. I'm very curious about how this is going to play out for, like I said, a lot of people who are in the market of an Xbox console, because one thing that we did learn, and I'll touch a little bit more on this later, it seems that Xbox Series consoles, the vast majority of the sales are not the Series X, but the Series S. Now, we had basically all known something like that for a very long time. They said that, okay, the Series S is outselling the Series X. We had known that, but we didn't know the specifics. Was it outselling it? Like, let's say, for example, 60-40. But now it's come out that it was outselling it, what, 75-25? So out of every single time an Xbox console is sold, 75% of that stuff is the Series S versus the Series X. That was shocking to me. That was absolutely insane to think about, considering just like what has been advertised. You know what I'm saying? As what most of us core gamers want. Like, PlayStation is very simple. You have the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 digital. Xbox, you have the Series X and the Series S, right? And then the vast majority of people are buying that console for $299. And yeah, the reason why I would say is, well, obviously the price is a big factor. $299 versus $499. Now, me being the tech guy that I am, $200 to get the best version of an Xbox console is a no-brainer, especially for longevity. But for a lot of people who don't care about that stuff, $299 for a new Xbox console, it runs fast, it plays COD, it plays NBA, it plays Roblox, period, point blank. And I'm sure with like bundles and stuff that we've been seeing and the deals that happen, it makes it a very enticing thing for consumers. And then you add Game Pass on top of that, and it's just like, boom, there you go. But $75.25 is absolutely insane. But part of me wonders what the split would have been if, let's say, for example, the Xbox Series X was as easy to get, because Series X as a unit didn't really have great availability up until like last year in 2022. That's where we first started seeing like where you can go into this like any stores and you can find it, like a Series X and a PS5, boom. Series S you could find wherever, and I think that's what led a lot of people to buy it. Would it have been the same thing if Series X was available, as readily available as the Series S? Like, even if it was supply constrained, like if you walked into a Best Buy and had 3 Series S's and 3 Series X's, would the Series X's have sold out, or the Series S's would have sold out? What do you guys think about that? But yeah, we got new Xbox consoles coming in the future. The whole thing, the whole approach, as far as, because I know a lot of people looking at them, they're saying it's kind of pointless. Like, why are they releasing a digital version 4 years into the generation instead of a pro model? And to be honest, in my personal opinion, I think that Xbox would kind of be handicapping themselves if they went ahead and did a pro model of the Xbox Series consoles, just based off of their new dynamic and what they're focusing on this generation. It's easy for us to look at last generation as an indication that, look, the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X, see, that's proof that we needed these current gen refreshes. Yes, obviously, if you're someone who likes power and performance in your games, then yeah, go for that. But they don't really move the needle much for these companies. Like, if you looked at all the sales, we don't have concrete data, but if you looked at all the sales of the PlayStation 4, a very small margin of that were PS4 Pro, because the PS4 you could get for like less than $300, sometimes $199, whereas the Pro, you barely saw it go on sale. Maybe you would go on sale for $50 off. If you were lucky, you would get it for $75 off. But with how fast the PS4 was able to sell, because they got that thing down from $400 down to $300 and then $250 and then $199 on some Black Fridays, people like that. People went for that. I don't really think the Xbox One X sold a lot for Microsoft to justify the amount of money that they put into that. So part of me is thinking that, okay, they don't really want to do that again. And then when you factor in that they have already a lower spec skewed system, having a third that is infinitely more powerful, I feel like you're getting to that point where you might have some diminishing, not diminishing returns. That's not the right term to use, but something that would already be significantly more powerful than the Series S. And then trying to get developers to scale for 3 different Xbox platforms, that's insane. Because they already have to do multiple PC SKUs. PlayStation only has 1 SKU. And then Xbox is like, now you have 3 SKUs. And people were already complaining about having the Series S and having the feature parity across the board. We might get to a point where it's like some developers are like, we only want to develop for the Series X or the Series X squared and not the Series S. But again, Microsoft has that parity in place. It seems like they're willing to make exceptions, like with Baldur's Gate, but that's like a very rare example. And, you know, of course, Larian said that we're going to work to add split screen to the Series S at some point. But yeah, I don't think they'll do like a refresh, especially because I don't even think Xbox Game Studios, I mean, you could say this about PlayStation 2, but we haven't even gotten anything out of these consoles yet, in my honest opinion. Yeah, we see some multiplats are struggling, but I think that's just more to do with the fact that they haven't been properly optimized as of yet. Like, I'm just looking at some of these games, like Jedi Survivor, for example. It's like Jedi Survivor now runs incredible on consoles. If they delayed that game an extra 4 months and it came out like that, people have been like, oh, this is awesome, dude. It's like, I feel like there's more optimization problems than anything else with a lot of these games. And that's just, unfortunately, the reality that we live in with these new systems. Like, we buy games, and for the first like couple of months, we beta test it. And that's the sad fact. That's the harsh fact of the world we live in. But yeah, you know, them making it all digital, it's opened up a dialogue for a lot of people to say that, is this a sign for things to come? And I'm sure you guys have probably seen a lot of people look at this as, okay, they're doing an all digital console. This means that Microsoft is more or less going back on their word of being all about preservation and being all about celebrating our history with backwards compatibility and all that stuff. I don't necessarily think this is them going back on their word because, I mean, first things first, you got to look at these corporations and what they're doing, right? You have to not just take everything they say at face value. You have to look at the actions, right? Xbox used game preservation, backwards compatibility as a talking point and a jab at the competition, because PlayStation was, once a platform that celebrated its great history, and then they stopped doing that and they stopped caring about backwards compatibility, whereas Xbox is like, oh, we can do something like this and we can get people happy and excited, and hey, all your favorite old games, you can still play them on Xbox. Those Xbox 360 games and those Xbox One games and the OG Xbox titles, you can run them on Xbox, and you know what, we're gonna make them run more stable, and they're gonna run at higher resolutions too. They were doing all that stuff. The Xbox backwards compatibility program is just fucking brownie points for Xbox. That literally is what it is. It was a passion project endeavor that I don't think Microsoft sought to earn any money off of, because realistically, and the data shows this, most people don't use backwards compatibility on their systems. I mean, obviously Xbox comes out there and they says, yeah, well, 1 in 7 people who own an Xbox console have put a 360 disc in their Xbox One. It's like, yeah, but does that mean all of them are playing them? You're like, what are the sales data for all these 360 titles? It was just one of those things that was really fucking cool, and I give them kudos for, but it's not something that's realistic just based off of how much R&D goes into the backwards compatibility program. It's something that doesn't make a lot of money, yet it costs a lot, because you have to go ahead and, first off, you have to make sure that you have to build the emulator, then you have to go ahead and make sure that you can get the licenses for some of these games, and licensing is always a nightmare regardless of the industry you're in. You have to track down the developer, you have to track down the publisher, you have to renegotiate deals to get those games on the service. Some of them can be very easy and simple because they're publishers that you are still alive and working today. Some of them might be gone. That's why you don't see a lot of backwards compatible games on there that you would think would be on there. Because in some cases the publishers don't exist, or in other situations the publishers want way too much money for this sort of thing, and then at that point it becomes logistics. Like, should we go ahead and go for something like this when it's going to cost us as much money, or nah, let's do something else. But again, I give them kudos in the world for doing that. They basically more or less stopped it because they wanted to focus all their efforts on the series consoles, which I understand. But it's something that a lot of people, they look at that and they think that that's their stance. If that was truly Microsoft's stance, they would still be coming out here and doing backwards compatibility updates. They would still be coming out here and doing like all these features to benefit old games. They did what they could, and now they just have to focus on stuff that they know is going to make their money and what people want, which are going to be new games. And if they get to a point where they're making a lot of money and they have the time to do that, they might do it. But I don't view this as them going back on their word or whatever. This is just a sign of things to come in the future. Like, whether or not people want to admit it, digital is the future of the industry. It's the future of many industries. In some industries, it is the de facto, like the music industry. People don't buy CDs anymore. In fact, some people don't even buy music anymore. Like, I'm talking digital downloads. Everybody is streaming stuff, and streaming is going to take a little while for it to become the de facto norm for gaming, just because of how much data you have to transmit. You streaming a game, hitting a button, it going back to the server, them sending the response back to your system. Still too early for gaming. But in terms of like things like music and movies, where it can scale and fluctuate pretty easily, a lot of people are content with that, as opposed to actually owning a physical copy of it. Now, me, myself, and I'm a big proponent of physical media. You guys know this. I love buying physical movies. I have over 100 4K Blu-rays alone. For gaming, a lot of people have just traded the option for physical media for convenience. And honestly, I am one of those in a lot of situations. Why? Because digital downloads are getting to the point where in some cases they're cheaper than physical media. They're way more convenient than physical media. And when you buy video games, unless it's a Nintendo Switch cartridge, you're kind of penalized owning it physical. Because when you own it physically, you have the disc, right? You got to put it in your system. You have to install it into your system. For some game installs are going to be longer than downloading the game if you have really good internet. Like, I remember this when I had my PS4. it was much faster for me to download Grand Theft Auto 5 in its entirety than install it onto my PS4. Now, mind you, that was back in the days of hard drive gaming. But now, it's just one of those situations where it's like, okay, I buy a game disc. Oh, half the game isn't even on the disc. I gotta install it and then download a remaining 50 gigs? So to me, it's one of those things where I understand preservation for video game's sake. Totally, I do. And if there are situations where I buy physical media, I want to make sure that the game itself is actually on there and it's not just a fucking glorified key, which is what a lot of it is nowadays. That's just the reality of the world that we live in, man. And that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing about it. Whereas like 4K movies, you have that on a disc. It's like, it's beautiful. It's great. I don't have to download anything else. With video games, it's like, yeah, I just bought Spider-Man 2. Oh, I got to fucking install half it. Oh, okay. All right. And I mean, dude, nowadays with shit like quick resume and everything, even though I think you can do quick resume with a disc, it's just like all the features that they have nowadays are geared towards, they're geared towards digital downloads and how they do stuff. So yeah, this is just a sign of the future. Do I think that next generation, they will have a disc console and a digital console, or it will just be all digital? I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. The way tech has been moving, like you look at game sales, and I think they were saying like, I think PlayStation said 70% of games that are bought on the platform are digital, or some crazy high percentage, more so than it was 10 years ago. Like I think like roughly back in 2016, digital sales were I think around like 40 to 50%, and then now it's already jumped to 70%. Like we're getting there. We're getting there, you guys. It's just the unfortunate reality. I don't know what's going to happen if they ever did launch a next generation of consoles that's all digital. I know a lot of people are going to say, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to do this, blah, blah, blah. We'll just have to see. But as it stands, the refresh model is going to be all digital. And it looks like it'll get to a point where the only thing that they're going to be manufacturing is this digital version. Or at least they're going to be pushing this way more than the disc version. So we'll just have to see as far as that's concerned. But yeah, that's that as far as the console refresh. I want to take a break and look at 2 of the super chats that we got real quick. And while I'm doing that, you guys, if you want to go ahead and post your thoughts down below on the Xbox refresh with the new controller, what do you guys think about that? And if you haven't already, hit the like button. It helps out the channel tremendously. Helps send this video out into the ether so we can get more people into this family of ours. We've got 96 viewers right now. I appreciate every single one of y'all watching. So we have a $5 super chat coming in from the homie J Fam. Xbox really said, ayo, what if we stop doing fridges and move to Alexa? I mean, the way they be looking at all the market research and what people like, a lot of people just like cylindrical shit. That seems to be what it is. Either that or just Xbox is late to the game when it comes to those designs. Because, you know, Apple did it a few years ago. Alexa did it a few years ago. $2 coming in from Flame. Xbox really be like, no sleep till Brooklyn. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I mean, no one at Xbox is going to be getting any sleep after this shit, bro. I mean, yo. Phil Spencer landing in Japan, and then he just looks and he's trending, and he finds out why he's trending. He's just like, oh, brother. Oh, man. Oh, man. That right there is just something else. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get the next topic rolling in. I'm trying to find stuff that's pretty juicy. Let's see. Oh, okay, so before we dive more into some of the future stuff, let's talk about some of the games that were shown off in that leak. Again, some of this stuff is tentative to change, my friends, but we have a good idea over here of some of the games that we could be seeing in the next couple of years from Xbox. Mind you, this is just, from the looks of it, stuff coming from ZeniMax Media, so that's basically Bethesda and all the other studios there. Nothing from Xbox Game Studios, which kind of sucks. I did want to see, if we were talking about leaks, I wanted to see more stuff that is happening behind the scenes with Halo. I mean, we know stuff is happening with Halo Battle Royale, and, you know, there's the rumors of it being rebooted, Unreal Engine 5 and all that stuff. But as it stands right now, we have stuff coming from Bethesda id Software, some things that we speculated, and some things that are just like, oh my god, wow, that's actually happening. So unannounced games that were in this presentation slide: an Oblivion remaster. Now mind you, this stuff is from years ago. This is included in the July 2020 Microsoft presentation about the potential acquisition. So this stuff that was years ago, plans changed. Obviously no one could have really foreseen the impact of COVID. Like back in like July, we were thinking that, yeah, we'll all be back at work within the next couple of months, and then nah, man, it kept going. So this stuff obviously did not hit fiscal year 2022. Some of this stuff could potentially hit the year depending on the scale of it, but then other stuff you're just like, no, this is a couple more years out. But a couple things that are interesting: an Oblivion remaster. That is freaking awesome to see. Oblivion's a great game in Bethesda's history. Doom Year Zero and DLC, and a second set of DLC. So Doom Year Zero, from the sound of it, that looks like a prequel, just because it's Year Zero. Is that going to be directly done by id, or are they going to be doing it in collaboration with somebody else, or is it going to be a different studio? I'm not so sure, because there was rumors that id Software was working on like a full-blown Quake game, like full-blown from the ground up, like huge on that scale. By the way, always great to see more Doom stuff. Fallout 3 remaster, I mean, we knew that was happening. I mean, come on now. I know a lot of people, myself included, would have loved New Vegas, but again, Fallout 3, technically a bigger game for them, and it's developed internally at Bethesda Game Studio as opposed to being licensed out to Obsidian. This one is very surprising, actually. A sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo. That right there is very shocking. Obviously, this stuff is from years ago. Plans probably have changed. But, Ghostwire Tokyo, I haven't played it, but the general consensus for most people, it seems like it was an okay game. Nothing crazy, didn't set the world on fire. But, I'm a big fan of things getting sequels, especially for IP that has the potential to have the Uncharted 2 effect. I know we say this all the time, the Uncharted 2, the Mass Effect 2s, the Assassin's Creed 2s, but it's true. If you have a first game that's decent enough, and then you just take what worked, you refine it, and you take out the shit that didn't, and you substitute in cool new stuff, you can make stuff better. Obviously. Simple shit, you guys. Make game good. So, a sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo. That's what's up. Dishonored 3, that's great. I'm happy to see that franchise has not been shelved. Happy to see it getting more love. It's just one of the things where it's like, if you have something good, stick with it. Even though, from what we've been hearing, the Dishonored games didn't really sell too much, but it's one of those things where I always say, if you craft a game, and again, I say this as a person on the outside, if you craft a game and you have realistic expectations about its scale, its scope, its budget, and you plan accordingly, like, not everything needs to sell 10 million copies to be successful, you know what I'm saying? So Dishonored 3 coming out, that's awesome. So like, again, this is from a few years ago. The Indiana Jones game, Project Kestrel, and an expansion. No idea what that's all about. Was there any new stuff that's come out since, you guys? I look at Project Kestrel, I want to say Cal Kestis for some reason. Project Platinum, a vaguely named licensed IP game. That could be whatever. But yeah, that's basically coming from the ZeniMax management forecast right here, which is looking at all of these things right here. There's some other things as well. Project Hibiki, like the stuff that we talked about before. And yeah, it's just broken down right over here. And yeah, so, a couple of games coming from ZeniMax Media that could be released within the next 2 to 3 years. And again, that's not counting all the other stuff since then that has been greenlit. Maybe some stuff from this list has been canceled or pushed off. Who knows, my friends? So yeah, let's go ahead and look at some other things and some other reports. I want to save the console. I want to say, you know what? Let's just get the console stuff, the next generation stuff out of the way, because I already know what everybody wants to talk about when it comes to this whole situation. Phil Spencer's comments, because he said a lot. So we'll just go ahead and tackle the next generation of Xbox, which is crazy to think about considering we're only halfway through this generation, and boom, we got some of the early plans for the next generation of Xbox. Because as you guys know, when it comes down to game development, a lot of stuff is done well in advance, years in advance. And whenever they release a new console, they're already in the preliminary stages of working on the next one. Like I remember Mark Cerny, when they came out with the PS3, he was just like, yeah, we're going to start working on the PS4 now. And it's usually a very small team of engineers who are doing that stuff. But you know, it's work that's being done nonetheless. They're out there securing deals with particular companies. They're going around and they're talking to different developers about the stuff that they want to see. You know, they're looking at the future of technology and looking at the stuff that they should put into the console. And again, all this stuff is done with the idea that you may or may not know what's going to happen within the next 7 to 8 years. So this is just based off of that stuff from then. But yeah, so in addition to Microsoft's new diskless Xbox, we have their future plans for 2028, which, you know, is 5 years away. But when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's not that far away, considering we'll probably hear more concrete leaks about this new system by 2026, 2027. And we're going to get a reveal by 2027, 2028. So what they're talking about here, it gives me a lot of, how should I say this? Deja vu from the early days of the Xbox One generation, because you hear a lot of stuff about cloud computing, cloud computation, you know, the power of the cloud and what it'll do for gaming. There were a lot of things that Microsoft wanted to do with the Xbox One console that at the time, it just came off as very, you're focused on this new technology, this new future. You're telling us what we want rather than just giving us what we want. Whereas PlayStation was just like, okay, here's a traditional game console. Like Xbox was trying to convince people that no. Having all your games be always online, having this thing and blah, blah, blah. This is what you need for the future. And if you don't agree with that, then fuck you, buy an Xbox 360, which even if we are gearing towards that future of cloud stuff, you don't say that shit in 2013, bro. People were still using flip phones and on dial-up internet in some places, man. You don't do that shit back then. You don't do it, man. So either way, I just got a lot of funny flashbacks from that. But yeah, so going over here, it's talking about their vision: develop a next generation hybrid game platform capable of leveraging the combined powers of the client and cloud to deliver deeper immersion and entirely new classes of game experiences. That's a fancy way of saying cloud make things cool. So yeah, it's over there. Key strategic decisions and investments. This is talking about a lot of specs and stuff that, again, I am not an engineer. I am not a developer. I don't care about all of this stuff. If it makes the games look cool and run better, awesome, great, fantastic. But I'll let the games do the talking. So yeah, for those who care about that stuff, for a system that's coming out in 5 years, get erect from this, I guess. That's all I could say. That's all I could say. So scrolling down the list right here, that was just the only slide from that one. This was from a May 2020 pitch document. So, you know, again, coming from about a year and a half ago. The company imagined you playing these games using the combined power of a sub $100 gadget, possibly handheld, and its xCloud platform simultaneously. And this is a timeline right here of every single Xbox generation and what kind of innovation they've brought. You know, obviously the 360, the Kinect. But the biggest part about the 360 era was digital media, the store, and all that stuff. You know, this generation in particular, they're really focusing on the cloud streaming. And then the next generation, once it's fully integrated everywhere, how is cloud going to play a role in game development and game design? More so than just Crackdown 3 and how they said the cloud would fundamentally change the game when it didn't. But yeah, you know, all this stuff has been in place. They're working out deals with AMD. You know, they're doing all that stuff, talking about how this is going to affect the games, safety and toxicity. Talking about you, Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, you know, all this internal stuff, metrics and things, and, you know, looking at what's happening here. Cloud first gamers, PC first gamers, console first multi-gamers, and everything. So just looking at this right here, man, the biggest thing that they want to grow more than anything is going to be the cloud first gamers, because when it comes to Xbox is transitioning more into a platform. It's going more from a product to a service, and this has been how it's been for a very long time. But they see a future beyond consoles, beyond PCs. So their approach is trying to get Xbox into every single household, every single place you could think of. And we're seeing that with TVs, very slow rollout, but we're seeing that there. They're going to be coming out with like this stick at some point where you can plug it into any TV and you can have Game Pass on it. And then obviously you have mobile phones and shit like that. But cloud streaming is where they want to be because they feel like they can reach way more gamers with that, as opposed to the barrier of entry, which is a set-top box that costs a couple $100, and then having a TV and having all the other things that come with that. Now, me, myself, and I as a gamer, I will always prefer local native play more than cloud just because of latency. But we'll see what happens in the next couple of years. If it gets to a point where some games you play on cloud, they feel very responsive and the internet has caught up to that point, that I could see that being a good option and a good addition. But as it stands right now, it's not viable for the vast majority of people on planet Earth. For some people, yes. And I have really good internet. But to me, it's one of those situations where I don't want to have to be wholly reliant on my internet and have it affect my gaming experience to the point where my experience could be lesser because of it. It's different with music and movies versus video games, which is an interactive medium. But yeah, again, those are the things that they want to do. Hold on one second. Just wanted to finish off the last of the protein shake. Seeing how, there was a point I wanted to bring up. Seeing how the cloud will influence video game development, though. I mean, outside of development in the sense that, you know, like what they could do on the back end. But Kory Gryffindor, I'll get to your super chat in a second, bro. Thank you. But seeing as how I want to see what the cloud can offer game development in terms of how we interact with it as consumers. Like, part of the reason why Kojima is working with Xbox is that he's crafting a game that is going to utilize the cloud in some way, shape, or form. And if you play Death Stranding, you see how he's able to utilize internet connectivity into shaping that experience. So seeing what he could do with the cloud with the video game is interesting, to say the least. But yeah, they're building 4 types of computers, cloud everything, a hybrid Xbox, hybrid Windows, and hybrid HoloLens. Oh, wow, HoloLens is still alive. Wow. So yeah, the next Xbox console is going to be heavy on the cloud computation. And in what situation that looks like, I do not know. But they emphasize that the controller becomes the hero, adding the new controller is the only thing you need to play on every device. Again, that goes back to the whole direct-to-cloud connectivity. It's got to be connected to the cloud, so you don't have to worry about any type of issues that could arise with different devices, different platforms, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this one right here is very interesting. Again, they're building things that go to the idea of like Xbox controllers being your gateway into this universe. A one-handed controller and mobile controllers right here that look very similar to a platform that we all know well and love, the Nintendo Switch. And right here, this could be anything. This could be a tablet, like a hybrid Windows tablet. It could be your cell phone or something. Yeah, so there's that, man. Cloud computation as it affects Xbox going into the next generation. Gonna be very, 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 very interesting to see. So, what do you guys think about that approach? I mean, obviously, this is some stuff that's, you know, years out. If you pay attention to a lot of stuff happening in the industry, this just seems like the natural progression. I always say this, it comes down to how games utilize this and how it's been implemented. And if we can come up with some really cool experiences, by all means. But again, it's got to get to that point where internet is just so stable across the board where the experiences are not hindered from having this sort of technology, which I don't think they will be. And again, we'll see what happens in the next couple of years. So while we've tackled that article, I got a $4.99 super chat coming in from the homie Kory Gryffindor. So you're going to finally finish Tales of Arise, you coward, so you can play the expansion? Well, I finished Jedi Survivor. That was a great game that had a great third act that, you know, didn't drag its feet with crazy exposition in the final act. I'll play that expansion if they ever came out with one, but no, they're not. We just gotta wait for the third game whenever that comes out. Dude, man, Jedi Survivor. What a game, bro. What a fucking game. Incredible. But yeah, there's gonna be Tales of Arise DLC, and I might get to that at some point. I might have kids before it, but I might get it. Okay, so now that we've went ahead and we've tackled that, again, I want to give a shout out to everybody who is watching right now. We've currently got 84 viewers, 71 likes. Appreciate y'all. If you do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's go ahead and get into some of the really juicy stuff. More so than just us talking about the next generation of Xbox consoles or an Xbox refresh. I'm talking about some stuff that pertains to somebody that we know well and we love in this gaming community by the name of Philip J. Spencer. Because, you know, a lot of stuff in this court case, coming out of this court case, is emails and back and forth between him and other executives and things of the sort. And of course, we learned some things. In some situations, that stuff is redacted, so we don't know exactly what they're talking about. But then this leak happens and we see some wild shit that goes on. So we're going to look at what is probably one of the biggest pieces, one of the most damning things that we have heard. And it's, oh, here we go. There we go. It's this, oh boy. So this right here. Phil Spencer says acquiring Nintendo would be a career moment. If the opportunity to buy Nintendo arose, Xbox might actually do this. So again, this comes back from 2020 in an August email between Phil Spencer and somebody else, right? So it's Phil Spencer, and they were just talking about random thought. You know what's so crazy, and one thing that is just so interesting about this whole like us seeing all the emails from all these executives, like how a lot of these executives speak, you know, like if you look at the content of their emails, it's not the most professional, if that makes sense. Like reading this, it just sounds like a regular conversation between two people, which I guess that is what an email is all about. But just based off of, you know, what they always taught us and how you email stuff and blah, 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 like as per my last email, it's just so funny. Like, look at this, like from Phil Spencer to these people right here. And the subject was random thought. This man just like hit them up probably in the morning while he was having his French toast. And he was just saying like, you know what? How crazy would it be if we bought Nintendo? Like, that is just insane to me. But okay, I'll go ahead and read the email. Takeshi, I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming, and today, gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance. I've had numerous conversations with the LT of Nintendo about tighter collaboration and feel like if any US company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably in the best position. The unfortunate or fortunate for Nintendo situation is that they are sitting on a big pile of cash, and they have a BOD that until recently has not pushed for further increases in market growth and stock appreciation. And then, you know, goes on to talk about a lot of other stuff as well. But the most important part about this situation was him saying that Phil Spencer was floating around the idea of them acquiring Nintendo. Now, again, this article points out also that they had discussions to buy TikTok as well and some other things. But just the fact that this was crazy, just like simple back and forth conversations with people like, you know, we could buy Nintendo. That could be a thing that happens, and it's just wild to me, man. And you know what the funny thing is? Because you guys remember a few years ago where Microsoft and Nintendo had this whole... You remember how they basically bullied PlayStation into doing crossplay? PlayStation didn't want to do it. They were saying, like, oh, it's not cool for us, security risk, and you guys didn't want to do it when we wanted to do it. And then Nintendo and Xbox were just like, well, when we play together, we all win, like Xbox hearts Nintendo and vice versa. That combined with like Minecraft going on the Switch and using Xbox Live sign-in, like this was not a fucking coincidence, you guys. This was not a coincidence. Them, like they were really having some of these interesting discussions, right? Now obviously, I am not a fan of this whatsoever. I don't like the idea of two major platform holders, not two publishers, because Xbox is a publisher. Like, let's be real about life. But two platform holders being merged and consolidated into one. I don't like the idea of that. I don't think it's good for gaming whatsoever. It doesn't really bring anything great into the gaming industry. Like the only thing you can say that people would benefit from is if you're a Nintendo fan, you're going to be getting better online because they'll be using Xbox Live servers and Xbox Live sign-in and all that stuff. But even then, like, no. And of course, there's the logistics that go around like a big company like Microsoft, an American company, buying a Japanese company and all the red tape that comes with that, which I'm not going to get into, partly because I don't care and partly because I don't know everything that goes into that, other than it's very bad and taboo. But still, Xbox thinking about buying a Nintendo. I mean, this isn't the first time. They did try to acquire Nintendo back in the 90s. As you guys saw when they were first getting into gaming, they had nothing. So they're like, fuck it, who's the biggest player in Nintendo that isn't PlayStation? Because PlayStation wasn't huge. Like the PS1 was big, but they were just like, well, come on, we can try this too. And so it's like, let's buy Nintendo. And Nintendo was like, psych, bitch, we're not doing that. So they ended up buying Rare, and then in the process of them buying Rare, they lost all the talent. So they ended up getting the worst version of Rare. And Rare has never recovered to this day. But yeah, I don't think it's realistic whatsoever. I mean, him saying that it'd be a career highlight for him. I mean, I guess if he bought Nintendo, but I just don't see the benefit in this sort of situation at all. Like, I know they're trying to get relevance. And the biggest thing Xbox wants to do, take care, Flame. Have a good night, bro. The biggest thing Xbox wants to do when it comes to these sort of things is they really want to get back in not only gamers' good graces, but they want to be relevant again. Xbox has not really been relevant like that since the Xbox 360 generation. Like, they were at the height of everything in a lot of territories during the first couple years of the 360. Because, you know, PlayStation, they shot themselves in the foot with the PS3. So that was like the first time that Xbox was like, okay, listen, we have a chance. And the 360 was outselling the PS3. They had better multiplats. They had better online. They had all those things. And then they just got complacent. They got too comfortable. PlayStation did their due diligence. They worked on crafting great games. They got great partnerships with studios. And, you know, the PS3 ended up beating the 360 in the end. And then they killed all their credibility with the Xbox One. So they've been trying to get back to a point where Xbox is as ubiquitous as it was before. But in my honest opinion, they're going about it the wrong way. Oh shit, my girlfriend's in the chat. What's up, baby girl? How you doing? They're going about it the wrong way, right? And I've said this before in the past. I don't mind the idea of industry acquisitions, depending on the scale of it and what you can gain from it. But my problem with Xbox is that they have not yet cultivated a culture around gaming. They haven't. It just, their solution so far is just like buying everything that they think they can buy, and that is going to somehow make them relevant. Yes, to your fans, the idea of getting all these games for free on Game Pass, sure, that sounds very enticing. But when you talk about the culture of gaming, when people look at like a Nintendo, they know that it's Mario, and they know that it's Zelda, and they know that it's this game here. When you look at a PlayStation, you know this and that. And you identify with them as platforms you want to play. Whereas Xbox, they used to have that. And now it's just, let's hope and pray all these games come to Game Pass. And let's hope that all these games are good. Rather than, damn, Xbox has just cultivated great first-party studios. And then they bought these studios and brought them into the mix. That's why people they haven't been buying Xboxes like that, because they don't have that goodwill. Everything is just, okay, give us time. And a lot of people have given them time and given them so many years, and they're just like, listen, I'm done looking. When you guys get your shit in order and it's like that for a few years, then I might look into it. But yeah, I think that what they needed to be doing in the past decade should have been cultivating great studios. And I understand that people are going to bring up, well, they cut the funding in 2016 and blah, blah, blah. That's not my problem, bro. That's not my problem, bro. Like, you got to find a way to do it. You got to find a way to build bridges and make shit happen. The fucking PlayStation with the PS3 launch, they found a way to come back after selling a $600 console that should have retailed for $900, and they found a way to make that shit work, bro. So that's why it's just like they're talking about more attractive way and increase our consumer relevance and all those things. You do it with video games. You get people interested, and then they see all the other shit you got, like Game Pass, like this great ecosystem, like all those things, like we said. Because Nintendo Switch is that prime example. Yeah, sure, it's sold on being different. It's sold on portability. But people came to that shit for the games and the experiences that they got. And Xbox just hasn't had those experiences for a lot of people that they can't already get with PlayStation or PC. Now, things are different considering it's been a couple of years since that, and you know, Starfield comes out. It's a big hit, and Forza comes out in a couple weeks, and then hopefully next year all those games hit as well. But again, it's about the games. It's about the games that matter. And still, Halo is dead. Like, I'm sorry. Like, they killed Halo. Halo has not been the same since Reach. Like, they found a way to fumble the bag every single fucking time. And Halo should be one of the biggest games out right now, and it's not. It's just, it's sad, man. It's sad. But regardless of that, the idea of that is funny. Obviously, that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, it's just crazy to think about. It's like, bro, we were thinking about buying Nintendo. Like, that's just such a wild thing to consider, man. That's just such a wild fucking thing to consider. But yeah, we're gonna go into the next Phil Spencer comment right here. Where was it? Because he did say something else. I'm trying to find that. Let's see. I mean, there's some really interesting stuff as well. Like, I'll pull up right over here. This one right here, it's not like a full-on quote or whatever, but it's basically like Phil Spencer was talking about game studio closures, and he basically said that studio closures are almost always because of leadership leaving, like Lionhead, for example, you know, or the team just losing its passion, like Ensemble, which I understand from his point of view. But again, it goes to the whole culture of things. Like, if you don't cultivate a good studio and you put all your eggs in one basket on, like, let's say, for example, you're a team and you have one player and that's the only player, and then you can't find your way, for example, you should do something about it. You shouldn't just close it immediately. Like, Ensemble and Lionhead could still exist today if you found workarounds, because executives leave studios all the time. Like, Naughty Dog of today is not the Naughty Dog of 20 years ago. They're different studios, but they found a way to navigate. They found a way to maneuver. And then there's some situations like Insomniac where you have a lot of people who just stay at that studio because they love it. But yeah, man, it's just, it's one of those things where, and I've had this discussion before, where it doesn't seem like Xbox is run like Xbox studios are run like game studios. It feels like they're looking at it from the outside perspective of a tech company, and it's like, okay, this is not working. All right, shut it down, bro. I'm like, wait, what the fuck, bro? Okay, this one right here, I want to give a little bit of I don't want to say it's like a defense, but there's a whole situation that's happening right now with hold on, I need to go ahead and I need to find this really good. I don't see it here at all in this thread. But it was such a good read. Hold on. 1 second, you guys. Hold on, I'm trying to find this. 1 sec. Where is this? So I found one of the things I wanted to look at, and I'm just looking. Where in the world? Okay, I think I found it. Okay, I found part of that. Wait, oh my God, dude. It's like you have a document and okay. All right. Okay, I found it. Okay, here we go. So, You remember how we had this discussion before in the past, you guys, about Game Pass? We wondered to what extent Microsoft would have to go to secure things coming on Game Pass day and date, right? We always wondered, what are the costs that go into Microsoft securing stuff? Because one of the things that, while Game Pass is really great and everything, when you don't have first-party releases, as, you know, Xbox hasn't had since, well, up until Starfield, we were always saying, like, can they get some, like, bigger third-party releases, whether those are day and date or whatever? How much would that cost? And judging based off of this, which we learned, hold on, sorry about that. Judging based off of this document right here, how much it would cost to get something on Game Pass, this is basically Microsoft estimating what it would cost for them to get some of the biggest titles, and in general, just some, like, of the smaller games on the service. Now, mind you, looking at this stuff, as I'm sure you guys can see, these are astronomical numbers. Xbox overpays for some of the stuff to come out on their service, just because you have to make it enticing to the publishers if you're going to basically be releasing a game on their platform for free. You know, obviously Game Pass is a monthly subscription, but the amount of sales that you could potentially lose because someone gets it on a subscription service, you have to spend money in order to make that up to the publisher. So we're looking at some of this stuff, and dude, it's absolutely insane to think about, right? How much they're willing to charge, how much they're willing to spend for some of them. So Gotham Knights, for example, they're willing to put up $50 million. Grand Theft Auto 5, which would have been $12 to $15 a month to Take-Two. Lego Star Wars, $35 million. Mortal Kombat, the newest one, $250 million. Jedi Survivor, $300 million to go on Game Pass. $300 million. Now, they say wild cards right there. Those are the crown jewels. So those are things that it's like shooting for the moon. Could they get it? Could they not get it? There's a high chance that they won't, which is why they said it's a wild card. Crown jewel. Jedi Survivor, $300 million. That alone, and this is what's crazy, $300 million for Jedi Survivor, that will more or less cover the budget and the marketing of that game. Like, games have gotten expensive, absolutely. But $300 million to put your game on Game Pass on one platform when it's still coming out on the other two platforms. I mean, if I was EA and I was strapped for cash, I would take that $300 million because that's a guaranteed money. You more or less covered everything, and everything is pure profit from the other platforms. But as you can see here, $300 million, imagine doing that every couple of months for a big game if you didn't have first party releases. That right there is why you see that they want to buy publishers rather than do all these Game Pass deals, because this is a lot of money to spend on a game. And remember, they don't own the game, and these things do not stay in Game Pass indefinitely. They'd have to keep working out deals. So their goal is that with this game being on the service, they get enough people to subscribe to it, where, not saying that they want to get $300 million worth of subscribers in a month, but enough to justify that investment, you know, spending money to make money and all that. Which, if I'm gonna be real, I'd rather them buy a studio, because this is not sustainable long term. I mean, people always talk about Game Pass sustainability, blah, blah, blah. But this right here, like, imagine if they did that a couple times a year on the big games, right? Let's just say they bought a $300 million game, $100 million game, a $50 million game, and then let's say like they bought a $150 million game. You know, well over $500 million to essentially rent the games for the service. And are they going to get that money back? Are they going to get subscriber growth? I don't know. Who's to say? But yeah, $300 million is what they estimate. And remember, like I said, they would overpay for the investments because they want to make it palatable enough to the publisher. You know, I'm sure if they could negotiate deals for some of the smaller stuff, sure. And then there was also the news that came out. I don't see it here, but what's it called? There was news that they had basically offered Larian Studios, I think it was like $5 million to get Baldur's Gate onto Game Pass, which I see a lot of people, they're going ahead and they're blaming Phil Spencer and all the people at Xbox, saying that how could you underestimate Larian Studios with Baldur's Gate, blah blah blah. Like, I hate this revisionist history we're already going through. Nobody and their mama was checking for Baldur's Gate 3. Nobody and their mama was checking for it. It wasn't until the game came out and everyone was just like, holy shit, this game is fucking incredible, and kudos. And even Larian came out and said, yeah, people weren't really looking for us like that. Like, so I don't blame them for underestimating it and lowballing it on Game Pass. Now, I think it was kind of stupid for them to not want to get that on Xbox as soon as possible. But to act like freaking this was Spider-Man and Xbox passed up on Spider-Man? No. Like, that's just, like, listen, Phil has said some weird things, but glossing over Baldur's Gate 3, I don't think that is, you can't fault him for that, considering everybody and their mama and all the publishers and all that stuff did. No one expected it to be a massive hit. And like I said, full kudos to Larian for all that stuff. But come on now, like, let's just be real. I just, like, it's one thing to be in this console war, but when you say dumb shit like that, like, oh, I didn't expect it to be a big success. Like, when someone is saying, like, freaking, I didn't expect, like, someone, like, let's say a studio passed over John Wick or something. Oh, I didn't expect it to be a big success. Like, oh my god, like, dude, it's crazy. But yeah, obviously they rectified it now, getting Baldur's Gate on Xbox, on Series S, and all that stuff. And then there's some really interesting stuff here. How, after Elden Ring, Phil Spencer tried to get the Dark Souls games on Game Pass. Doesn't appear to have succeeded. Yeah, I mean, that would have been a great idea. And that's the thing about Phil Spencer. It's like, he's not a stupid man. Like, he goes out there, like, certain things he understands. And when he says, like, there was the whole document that, there was a document that came out where he was talking about how he was really pissed off that they had to delay Starfield and Redfall, and they were working really hard to try to get other stuff onto the service, and we have to do better. Like, Phil knows it. But the problem is, it's like, how many times you gotta fucking say that before it's just like, people can't believe you anymore? Like, I got love for Phil. I really do. But there's some things about Phil Spencer that I can't. Phil is a gamer. He is more of a gamer than Jim Ryan. We can all agree and we can all accept that. But how does Phil Spencer look at Halo Infinite and look at Redfall and say, yep, these games are ready for prime time? I understand that ZeniMax Media oversaw Redfall. They were running autonomously, but Phil Spencer is the big boss at Xbox. If he says the buck stops with me and we're all about getting back consumer relevance, how do you look at those games and not think to yourself they need another year or so in the oven? And even with Halo Infinite, it got another year in the oven. It was still launching half-baked. Like, I don't know, man. Like, there's certain things about Phil Spencer that I know he understands and he gets. Like, Phil Spencer knows they need to do better in Japan. That man got the Persona trilogy on here. He got Yakuza games on there. I firmly believe that's because he is online and he sees what gamers want, right? He sees us complaining about that stuff. But then there's other things where I'm just like, how do you not look at Redfall and think, dude, we can't release this game. This is going to do bad for us. This is just, dude, come on now, Phil. Come on now, bro. Let's see. There was, and then there's this article right here, which comes from, well, my homeboy Nib. I forgot where exactly he got this document. I saw it floating around before, but since Nib aggregates a lot of stuff easier than a lot of people, I found this. This was about, this was coming from in an FTC interview in October 2022, that if Game Pass didn't hit more than 50 million subscribers by a certain date, they would exit gaming altogether. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up for y'all. So, okay, so here it is, right? Do you agree with the projections that are expressed in this chart? I do not believe that this is what the future of Xbox business will look like. So is this wrong? This is a presentation from our devices organization from game leadership. So that's the view from the team that is charged with building. And he says, I can fairly say that if we do not make more progress than this off of console, we would exit the gaming business. I wasn't trying to make a projection on 2020. I was saying that if this is where the outcome that we were trending towards, we would not continue in this business. So the I was trying to make a counter projection. I would hope by earlier than 2030. So when he asked me if I agree with this chart, if the light green and blue, he said this is all coming from, you know, the documents and everything. He said I would say by fiscal year 2026 and 2027 that we should be in the position, or we'd have to make a different decision with the business. So this is basically Phil Spencer saying that in the next couple of years, if this whole Game Pass thing does not work out, they would have to exit the business. And he was talking about that stuff internally. And this is the quote that a lot of people have been running with. That right there, you could obviously tell that that man is under some stress. That man is under pressure. That man is under pressure from all the executives. And honestly, I don't blame him for the way he's speaking, because you got to look at the optics, right? Phil Spencer, a few years ago, essentially convinced the head of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, and all those people there to go all in on gaming, to open up the checkbook, give us a blank check. Satya's like, what do you need to do? Phil Spencer's like, I'm trying to grow this Game Pass thing. Game Pass already appeals to the idea of Xbox, well, not Xbox, but Microsoft and what they like, subscriptions, reoccurring revenue, monthly active users, all that stuff. So what way to make Xbox profitable or more appealing to Microsoft? Well, we're all about monthly active users and these statistics, and we want to grow these things. So what do? You spend $7 billion, you get Bethesda. Then you spend $70 billion and you get Activision. And their goal is that if they could keep increasing the amount of subscribers of Game Pass in the next couple of years by making these big money play moves, not necessarily to recoup that cost, but to grow and get a lot of reoccurring revenue, that would look good for Microsoft. So they don't have to worry about closing the Xbox division. Because that's something a lot of people don't realize. The Xbox division hasn't been insanely profitable for Microsoft. There was a brief period in time where it was, during the Xbox 360 era. But then there was the whole Red Ring of Death debacle, and that cost them a shit ton of money. So Xbox has always been losing money hand over fist when it comes to the brand. And part of the reason why they got into it was because there was like a passion project, right? But, you know, Microsoft is a business at the end of the day, and they want things that keep making a lot of money. So this was Phil's way to get more funding and money for Xbox. And with him saying that, you know, if this didn't work in the next couple of years, we would leave the gaming business or something along those lines. Or, you know, like, and it's interesting when you line it up to his comments when he was on Kind of Funny, and he was basically talking about like how he might not have a job in the next few years or blah, blah, blah. Like, they're hoping that this shit pays off, bro. They are spending a lot of money on it. And I can't blame them for having that pressure, man. This shit has to succeed. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if it doesn't succeed, their alternative, they're just basically admitting they don't have a good alternative because they haven't cultivated that, the whole Nintendo PlayStation thing, where they've cultivated decades in the legacy of having games and franchises and mass market appeal. Xbox doesn't have that. So in their mind, they're like, well, if Game Pass doesn't work, then we can't work, which I think is a very naive thing to do. But regardless, yeah, I don't blame Phil. He's under a lot of pressure in this respect. And then the last thing we're going to look at, which, I mean, obviously, given the situation, there was no way that you could avoid this. Even though the man is in Japan right now, he did comment on the situation. He tweeted it right here. We've seen the conversation around old emails and documents. It is hard to see our team's work shared in this way because so much has changed and there's so much to be excited about right now and in the future. We will share the real plans when we are ready. And here's the full memo and everything. Team, today several documents submitted in the court proceedings related to our proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard were unintentionally disclosed. I know this is disappointing, even if many of the documents are well over a year old and our plans have evolved. He always stresses that part because it is true. Things change. I also know we all take the confidentiality of our plans and our partners' information very seriously. This leak obviously is not us living up to that expectation. We will learn from what happened and be better going forward. I just, how the fuck do you leak this yourself, bro? It's not like a hacker got into this, man. You leaked this yourself. Not Phil Spencer, but, you know, Microsoft. We all put incredible amounts of passion and energy into our work, and this is never how we want that hard work to be shared with the community. That said, there's so much more to be excited about, and when we're ready, we'll share the real plans with our players. In closing, I appreciate all of the work that you pour into Team Xbox to surprise and delight our players. In the days a week ahead, let's stay focused on what we can control, continuing the amazing success of Starfield, the upcoming launch of the incredible and accessible Forza Motorsport, and continuing to build games, services, and devices that millions of players can enjoy. Phil. So, yeah, I mean, standard PR answer, of course, but I mean, at the end of the day, he had to say it. He had to, man, because there's no way you could just ignore this and sweep it under the rug. This is a big deal. It is huge. And of course, in a couple months' time, people are going to forget a lot of this shit because it's not fundamentally going to change the way people play Xbox, but it is going to have people look at some of the things Xbox executives say a little differently because of just all the things that have come out, that what they were talking about, man. Because, you know, Phil has always said, like, when we game together, we all win together, and manifested this very nice kumbaya approach, which I'm sure he believes. But behind the scenes, that man is as ruthless as anyone else gets, bro. Like, it is what it is when you are at that level, man. And I can't knock it, man. Like, you guys know how Nintendo was back in the day with those Yakuza policies. You know how PlayStation used to fucking do crazy shit. You know, this is just the game that they be playing, man. I just think the important thing at the end of the day is what Xbox needs to do now is cultivate all the studios that they have now, and they have to continue to release high quality games on a consistent basis, because that's going to be the only way you win back consumers, man. Like, all this other stuff is great and everything, but like, I don't care that my donut is connected to my Xbox ecosystem if I ain't got no games to play, man. Like, I need more than that shit. But either way, like, I know some people are saying, like, I'm done with Xbox after this. I'm not, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, man, shut up, bro. Like, I just hate people who just get so performative. Like, I see some people out there saying, like, I'm never going to game on Xbox again after this. I'm like, bro, if you knew even half the shit that people at Apple and Google and Samsung and all of these companies' products who you be enjoying, what they be saying, doing, like, people just, nah, man. You know? Again, I think what it goes back to is just, it's like the same thing. Industry consolidation is never the answer or the solution. Xbox wanting to buy Nintendo, Xbox wanting to buy Valve, like, bro, that's not going to help you. It's not going to save you, bro. Unless you want to make it so draconian where they have to go to your service to do these things. Like, why, man? Like, bro, like, for example, buying Nintendo, what would you do at that point? Like, if Xbox bought Nintendo, are they going to release Nintendo games on their system? Or are they just going to incorporate Xbox stuff onto Nintendo? I mean, Phil Spencer has said, like, yeah, if we release the Xbox Series X in Japan, wouldn't it be crazy if we made it like the Sega Series X? Because we love Sega. I mean, sometimes companies have done that. In different markets, they have a different company's name on it to sell it. But, man, I just think, like, in closing, because that's all I really want to say about this discussion. In closing, this was not a good week for Xbox, but to the same degree, they just gotta, as King David says, they gotta hold the line, man. They just gotta keep doing what they're doing. I'm still excited about the future of Xbox. As an Xbox fan, I play my Series X. My Series X is my primary platform. I love that thing. You guys know this. But to the same degree, what I think Phil Spencer really needs to be focusing on is bringing back 1 versus 100. Like, Phil, let me talk to you real quick, bro. I love you. But what is this obsession with doing everything in the world except bringing back 1 versus 100? You talk about being relevant in the gaming industry, yet you don't want to bring back one of the most iconic games from the Xbox 360 era? No one on PlayStation had anything like 1 versus 100. No one on Nintendo had anything like that. Bro, like, 1 versus 100. Listen, 1 versus 100 fundamentally made me a better father. And Xbox doesn't want to give that to me. So is Xbox continuing to contribute to the single father, like, one child household shit that's happening in America? I'm saying a whole bunch of bullshit talking about 1 versus 100, bro. I just want them to bring that game back, man. I I love that game, man. I love that game, bro. I love that shit. 1 versus 100 revival, man. I will take nothing less. Fuck a Halo Infinite reboot, man. 1 versus 100 for the streets. The streets need that shit, bro. But yeah, you know, I don't think Xbox has got to buy everything, man. You spent enough. You spent enough, Xbox. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Listen, I will say this. Xbox can buy another publisher if they go 3 years without releasing another Redfall. I'll say that. You can buy another publisher. Just go 3 years without releasing another Redfall or a Halo Infinite, and then we'll talk. And then we'll talk, man. Get the license for Rise of a Ninja and Broken Bonds. That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, anyways, that's basically all I want to talk about with this Xbox shit that was happening. For those of you guys who are either fans of Xbox or someone who doesn't have an Xbox, but you're interested in buying one, but something is holding you off from doing it, what could they realistically do in the next, like, 4 years? Let's say by 2027, that's when Game Pass has to explode. It has to be over 50 million users by then, which I think is doable. What do they realistically need you to do to buy the console, guys? What would y'all need? What would you guys need? I know the obvious answer is more games, but what else would you guys need to either jump all into a new ecosystem, come back into the Xbox ecosystem, have a secondary platform, you know, game on PC, game on cloud, whatever. Broken Bonds, backwards compatibility, absolutely. That's what the streets really need. Listen, Broken Bond, bro. CyberConnect 2 wishes they had a game that was that good. PlayStation needs to die for me to get an Xbox. Oh, shit. Well, I mean, we'll see how those games as a service hit. But while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and tackle one of the super chats that I got coming from Gustavo Bravo. Appreciate you, my brother. He says, the thing that's sad is that Xbox made cool shit in the past like Halo and Gears, but most things from Xbox now was bought like Minecraft. I loved it before Mojang got bought out though. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I give Xbox credit if they do something like Starfield where they give it an extra year, 2 years of polish. That's cool. But I want to see them. You know what I want to see more of? I want to see the Initiative, this Perfect Dark reboot, because that's an Xbox studio that was cultivated from the ground up. I want to see what that's hitting for. Banger after banger, exclusive games, nothing I can play on PC, no reason to buy an Xbox. But I mean, that's the thing though. If you're still buying the game from them on PC, they're still supporting them, which is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Another Conqueror Banjo, not Redfall. I can build a mini PC for the living room that does more for the same price. Well, okay, so I should rephrase the question. I'm not necessarily just saying buying an Xbox, but what could get you invested in the ecosystem? Because, you know, it's more than just the consoles and shit. Getting subscribed to Game Pass, buying the games on Steam, all that stuff. Which, again, at that point is probably just the games. Godzilla fighting game. Hey, I mean, licensed IP. There you go. $4.99 coming in from the homie Kory Gryffindor. You think if CyberConnect 2 was still involved with the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, would they have done save carryovers? I think that if CyberConnect 2 was still involved with Final Fantasy VII Remake, we would not have played the game yet. I'm just being honest. I think that... I remember in hindsight when we found out that they were no longer on the project, I was pissed because I was like, fuck, this game's going to get delayed again. And it did. It did. But it was honestly for the best. Because CyberConnect 2, it just seems like the only success they really have right now is every now and then they come out with a dot hack game and then just Naruto, man. Just straight Naruto or Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. The good old adage, great games sell consoles. Sir, how dare you? New Cyberpunk update looks dope. Yeah. Cyberpunk finally came out of beta, you guys. It took 3 years, but here we are. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty finally releasing, which I will probably play in 2024. You know what the crazy thing is? I got like 20 something hours into my Cyberpunk playthrough, and I started playing some other stuff that came out this year. And then the Phantom Liberty, they announced that, yo, we're rehauling the whole game. It's a relaunch, so restart your save. And I was like, okay. So I'm just going to restart the game. Are you guys going to be restarting Cyberpunk or playing it for the first time with the new update? So I just beat Jedi Survivor, and I'm an emotional wreck. I'm inconsolable. I was on the ground. I was screaming. I was crying. I was just in the fetal position. It's not a good look, but it was a very good game. So I finished that. Now I'm going to work on finishing the rest of Final Fantasy 16, which is not going to take me long. And then from there, I'm going to, I guess, just go back into Starfield and Baldur's Gate before Spider-Man comes out. Yeah, that's the little thing I am worried about with Jedi Survivor's sequel, because Stig, he directed the first 2 games. He's gone from Respawn. He just departed. And from what he said, the Jedi team is still good, and they're in a good place to work on the 3rd game. But it remains to be seen, man. I just hope and pray that the next couple of years of development are smooth, man. I need that trilogy to be incredible, bro. I need the story. Dude, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but the way Jedi Survivor ended, the entire last act of the game, so emotional, so heartfelt. The way it leads the 3rd game, it could just be so fucking incredible. Dude, I can't wait. When are you going to finish Tales of Arise? Man, I'll finish Tales of Arise. Man, y'all got to stop this shit. Listen, I got to level grind. Listen, because I'm at this point right before the final boss. I don't have any healing items. I don't got gold for healing items. I got to freaking level grind. Not even level grind, but just kill a lot of enemies to get gold to go buy healing items to fight the last boss or whatever. And I just don't want to do it, bro. The last thing killed me, man. Yes, it was some of the best Star Wars stuff. When are you going to do the data battles? Oh, we're going to do that. Yeah, Kory, didn't we agree? We're going to start at 2024. It's going to be our resolution. We're going to start a data battle. We're going to do 1 data battle a month. Or at least more. We're going to beat 1 person a month, at least. Neo, can you explain what was your reaction to that reveal? Dude, I lost my mind. My jaw was on the floor. I almost dropped my popcorn, bro. It was so good. Oh, God, Bobby comes in. Wait, you didn't finish Arise? Yo, listen, this is common knowledge. This is common knowledge, my friends. This is common knowledge. I just left it alone because the 3rd act of Tales of Arise is some of the worst shit I've played in a game recently. Exposition after exposition after exposition after exposition. I'm just like, what did you do to the pacing of the game, bro? $2 from Blue Senshi. Just good at Arise. Stop being a little bitch. No, I'm gonna be a little bitch. That's what I'm gonna do. Now y'all gotta look at me with the freaking light on me. David G says Horizon is mid. Who's talking about Horizon? Yeah, no, I think the DLC will probably be good. That's crazy though. They're doing a whole expansion. That's like, you don't really see that a lot with Tales games. But then again, this is like a Tales game in the modern era, you know? I say modern era in the sense that like they're doing story DLC. More often than not, what they used to do was just like, well, we'll just make a sequel next year, you know? No, Kory Gryffindor, I'm not. That's going to be our New Year's resolution. We're doing the data battles. I don't care how ridiculous it looks on stream of me getting my ass clapped by all these members. Hey, listen, Larxenius, you want to clap my ass? Hey, maybe. Maybe, man. That'll be a New Year's resolution. Wait, what? What difficulty did you play Jedi Survivor on? I think I played on the standard difficulty. Nah, there's a lot of... Bro, I wish... You know what? I would take some remakes of like the really old Tales games. That'd be great. Yeah, I'm going to play on standard mode for the data battles. I ain't doing no hard difficulty. I ain't getting my cheeks clapped like that. Did you play Octopath Traveler 2? I ended up dropping it. Weird because I love the first one. So I have Octopath Traveler 2. Everyone keeps telling me it's a Game of the Year contender. If Flame was here, he would say that. I dropped the first game after I was like 60-something, 70% through because the story wasn't hooking me. What are you playing on your Steam Deck? Nothing currently because I'm on my Xbox. Tales of Exilia is good. The combat in Exilia is good. The second game, as a game itself, it does some really annoying things, looking back on it. But the combat's fucking insane. It's like Devil May Cry Tales. It's so sick, dude. Luger, Bobby knows. Bobby knows Luger with those fucking combos, man. Yes, I am very weak when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. I played critical mode when I was younger, and I don't have the dexterity for it anymore. How far into One Piece are you now? We talk about the live action anime, or the live action show, or the anime in general? Yeah, everyone keeps telling me about Octopath Traveler 2, man. So I have it. It's on my Switch over there. I have that, and I have Live Alive. Yeah, I'm gonna get to Octopath. Right now, what I'm focusing on is I'm beating shorter games, or games that I've put some time into. So I beat Jedi Survivor. I'm gonna beat Final Fantasy 16 in the next week. Resident Evil 4 Remake, believe it or not, I didn't finish that. So I'm finishing that up. I still gotta finish up Hogwarts Legacy as well. $2 from Blue Senshi. So I'm enjoying Final Fantasy 16 more than Starfield. Hey man, to each their own. To each their own, my brother. Hey, what's up, Havoc? Don't underestimate Phil. I see that man playing Microsoft Solitaire every morning on his Xbox account before work. Absolutely, bro. Never that. That man, I see him playing Microsoft Chess and Microsoft Checkers. Hey, what's up, Mav? How you doing, my brother? We just got done talking about all the Xbox news. Jesus Christ, I am tired. Hope you're doing well, Mav. Oh, damn, I gotta finish up Yakuza Ishin as well. Fuck. Have you beat Zelda yet? No. Guys, you know me. Unless it's something like Spider-Man, I beat every game like 3 months after they come out. It's all about Uno. Hell yeah. Yo, dude, yeah. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy week for news. Are you going to play Persona 3 Reload? Yes. Thanks to Uncle Phil. He got that on Game Pass, so I don't got to pay $70. That's a big move right there. They got the next Persona game coming out on Game Pass. Is this the most hype you'll be for the Game Awards? Oh, absolutely, dude. Just because I want to see who's going to win. I have a feeling it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3, just based off everything. I wouldn't be surprised if Tears of the Kingdom nabs it again, but I just realistically think it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3. If it's not Baldur's Gate 3, I'm going to be shocked. Yeah, the Resident Evil 4 DLC came out. Isn't it like dirt cheap too? Like $10? Dude, yes. Yakuza Like a Dragon is awesome. Yo, Maddie, look at all those games you got to play next year. Bro, I gotta... Dude, did you guys watch the Yakuza... I say the Yakuza Direct. The RGG Studios Direct? I tried my best not to, bro. Because I watched it late. And a lot of people were saying, yo, there's mad spoilers. Don't watch this. And I was like, okay. So I scrubbed around and I was like, oh, I gotta watch it. And I was like, fuck, that shit looks dope. It's insane. I'll say this much. If you haven't watched it and you're looking forward to those games, do not watch it. Do not watch it. They spoil a lot of shit, bro. Yeah, Cody, I heard the DLC was really good. Dude, just avoid that everything, dude. It's just, listen, it looks so fucking good, though. It looks incredible, but don't watch it. I wish they didn't show us that shit at all, because they spoiled some shit that you just like, how fucking dare you guys? Like, there's one decision that I don't know how they're going to play it in the context of the story, but it just made me very, very mad. Like, how dare you? You can't do this to us. Spoiler, Kiryu's joined a boy band. Gosh, dang it. Kory Gryffindor, must you spoil everything in life? Is this what happens when you don't get the data battles? You gotta spoil it for everybody else, and then they're gonna blame me inadvertently because they in my stream? Yo, but that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer though, oh, it was messy. It was messy, man. I had just taken a shower and I watched that trailer. I had to take a shower again. I'm not gonna get the collector's edition. I'm just getting the. I'll just get the regular edition. I was gonna get the deluxe edition, but I bought the Final Fantasy 16 deluxe edition with the steelbook and everything, and I was like, this is a nice steelbook, but I paid, I think 100. Well, I didn't pay the $100. I had trading credit, but I'm looking at this and I was like, so the extra $30, I got a steelbook and really not much else. I got like a fucking cloth and all that. So I'm like, nah, I'm okay. I'm fine. So I'll probably just get the standard edition. I just can't wait for Rebirth, bro. Rebirth looks incredible. I don't read the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, so I don't know what happens, but all I heard from folks is stay off the internet. That's all I heard. Oh, okay, I'll go check it out. I'll see what they got in it. Well, the Rebirth Deluxe has the soundtrack and art book and steelbook. Okay, for $30? All right, that's better. Because with the 16 one, we didn't get much of anything, man. That Sephiroth statue is nice, though. There's just a lot of collector's editions coming out, you guys. Oh, there's a lot of RPGs next year, man. We got Rebirth. We got Persona 3 Reload. We got, what's that game? The fuck is that game? When does Grand Blue come out? Did that come out the first 2 months? I've been holding back on playing Final Fantasy VII. I have a feeling they're going to release 3 parts in one big case, mimicking the original version. Yeah. They are going to probably do that, Azula. But remember, that's not coming out for a couple of years. That's like, if you're lucky, 2026, 27, around there. So that's going to be a while. ReFantasia. Oh, God. I would say go ahead and play 7 Remake, Rebirth. Because remember, you have like 3-4 years before the next installment comes out. But man, that's damn, you guys are going heavy for those special editions. That's what's up. Listen, all I'm saying is that we need a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer sometime this century. I need to see what they've been cooking, bro. When do you guys think Kingdom Hearts 4 is realistically going to come out? 2025 or 2026? That's crazy, dude. There's so many games. Fucking January, no less. I could see them doing like 2025, but realistically, just the way gaming is, 2026. Damn, a lot of people are saying, this man says next year. 2026, the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts 2. Ah. 2023 was 16. 2024 is Rebirth. 2025 is Kingdom Hearts 4. Ooh. One major entry in each of their favorite franchises. Yeah. I can see that. A new saga done with Xehanort BS. A new character Nozora in Star Wars World has been teased. What? What? I can see him doing Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts. That should be fire. Most of the development time of Kingdom Hearts 3 was really switching engines. It was. Because then you look at the content in the base game, your Kingdom Hearts 3, and you're like, what the fuck was this? Oh, the ATST. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's been so long since that trailer came out. Winter 2026. I could, yeah. I'm going to be realistic, like 2025, 2026, around there. If Kingdom Hearts 3 is if Kingdom Hearts 4 is the first Kingdom Hearts game where they get, where they go ahead and they announce the release date and they don't delay it, I will be shocked. I need to go back and watch that. I need to go back and watch that trailer. Let me see. About to go back and rewatch this Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. I would show up, but I don't want to get hit with copyright for whatever reason. Nah, fuck it. Let's go. Whatever. Let me go ahead and Kingdom Hearts 4. All right, let's go ahead and I'm gonna mute that shit. So where in the trailer did you guys say this thing was? Where exactly in the trailer? Yeah, New Vegas, I prefer that over Fallout 3, but Fallout 3 is pretty cool. So this is that other shit. Oh, yeah, fuck, where? It was somewhere around here. Where's the foot? It wasn't that forest setting, was it? Like, I legit have not watched this trailer since... When did this come out? Freaking last April, Jesus. Alright, is it around here? You said the foot. Alright, so it was a forest, but is that really like the forest moon of Endor, though? I mean, it could be, or it could just be a forest. Did we miss the foot? This is so funny. Did we miss the foot? I mean, there's Sora's feet. There's Sora's feet. Where's the foot? I get that high quality. Is it on the ground? Is it a footprint? What am I looking at? Top right of the screen? Okay. Let's go. Let's see. All right, let's see. Oh! I see the foot. I saw the foot. I saw the foot. I saw the foot. Shut up. I saw the fucking foot. Hashtag where's the foot? It's a fucking foot. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the foot, guys. Look at the foot. Look at the foot. Imagine y'all are just like, that's not the foot, idiot. I'm like, it looks like a foot, though. Yeah. Yay. Yay. Star Wars tease. Yay. Let's see if the top comments. I wonder how long it takes until someone notices it. I don't see anything. Damn. Can't wait to play this in 39 years. Feet culture. Damn, no one brought it up? Maybe if we type in let's see, Endor. No. We'd have to probably look at all comments. Either way. It's a foot, guys. I gotta wonder, like, who was the first person to figure this out and be like, wait a minute, what? Because it could, yo, look, yeah, look, it's a fucking foot, guys. It's a foot. It is an ATST foot. In the forest moon of Endor, the foot Endor. We are hunting the truth. Neo might as well eat mayo off of that foot. I might. We got realistic Star Wars in our Kingdom Hearts games. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Yay. We got feet. We got Sora's feet. We got Sora's feet and we got the Endor foot. We did it, guys. We did it. Oh, boy. Oh, brother. Over, under. You guys think we're going to get some Marvel stuff or just Star Wars? The foot moon of Endor. That's what I'm talking about. Probably both. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. I'm looking at the clock, you guys. It is 9:40, which, man, it's about time we wrap it up for the night, y'all. Oh, normally I'm not this tired so soon during Ask Neos, but considering I spent the bulk of the time just talking nonstop about the Xbox thing, I guess it kind of it wore me down a bit. But I want to thank y'all for coming through to this stream. I know it was a different format by comparison, but that was intentional just because of the stuff that we had to discuss tonight. I want to thank y'all for pulling up as always. Thank y'all for subscribing. If you haven't already, hit that like button, helps out the channel tremendously. Before we go though, I would have a hydration check, but considering I am almost out of water, which means we're going to have a very small hydration check. So on the count of 3, y'all, grab your favorite H2O beverage of choice, and we're going to hydrate up in this bitch. 1, 2, 3, hydration. I am so hydrated right now. I am a waterbender. Shit is crazy, man. But guys, again, thank you so much for pulling up. Enjoy your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, any place you may be at in the world. I will catch you guys on the next stream, which will be happening. Looking at my calendar, it's going to be happening next Tuesday night. So we're going to be back to our regularly scheduled programming. And from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. Like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace out, y'all. Well, before we go, we got a $1.99 super chat coming in from the homie GC Plugs. I appreciate you, my brother Bobby. Bobby says, be safe, my brother. Thank you so much, my guy, and same to you. So yeah, guys, from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.